Hey friends, good day. My name is Craig Cullinane. And welcome to the fourth installment of my Awakening series. Today, we are talking about and exploring awakening the breath. Awakening the breath. So let's start by sharing a breath. Maybe let your belly soften. And let's share another breath. Let your lungs slowly fill as you inhale. And let your muscles of your body relax any amount on the exhale. So, awakening the breath. Why awaken the breath? What is the breath, right? So, we're born into this world and we have our first breath, and then we live our lives, and right before we die, we have our last breath. And in between, we breathe countless trillions of times. Who can possibly count? And what's amazing is that our breath can be such an incredibly potent and powerful tool for our lives if we give it that attention. And it's just right there for us. It's our breath, it's our birthright. I have my breath. And I like to think of my breath as a friend. Sometimes I even think that my breath has its own consciousness, its own, I guess, consciousness that I can relate to. But I like this idea of my breath as my friend. And as my friend, my breath can do so many things for me, right? Breath can be used to activate energy, right? We can breathe in, ha, ha. We can welcome the energy, the chi that lives in air into our body and activate our lives when we need energy. We can use the breath to settle. We can use the breath to ground when emotions are high, when I'm feeling triggered, when I'm scared, when I am having feelings that I'm struggling with. The breath can help me settle. I can take slow breaths. I can breathe deeply. I can release. And so in that way, giving attention to my breath can help me release and relax and ground and settle in ways that can be really useful for my life. I can use the breath to expand pleasure. Last week we talked about awakening pleasure, which is so beautiful, and I had offered this practice of taking a breath that feels pleasurable to you. That we can weave the feeling and experience of pleasure or enjoyment right into our breath. So let's do that together. Take a nice breath, fill your lungs. And now take a breath that is just really enjoyable to you, that just feels really, really pleasurable. You may even need to exaggerate, right? So again, it's just breathing in and finding enjoyment, finding pleasure in this breath. Right? So my breath can help me expand pleasure in my body. It can help me welcome and expand and activate pleasure. My breath can help me move energy in my body if things are stuck in my body. Like maybe I've got some feeling deep in my gut. Maybe I've got some shame I'm living with. Maybe I've got some emotional experience or some trauma that lives in my body. And with intention and with care, I can gently bring my breath to that part of my body. Really intend on welcoming breath into that part of myself, slowly, gently. And it can help move things. It can help move feelings. It can help move energy in ways that can be useful for my life. So my breath is my friend. Humans have been practicing in cultures all through since humans have been hanging out. Breath work as a way to access different states of consciousness, as ways to seek and connect with the divine, with divinity. Inspiration, right? Inspire, the French word. The root of it is spirit, connection to source, connection to divinity. And I have experienced, and I know many other people have experienced, that when I am doing some conscious breath work, I can access states of consciousness that are expanded, states of consciousness that are different. I can welcome connection to my experience of the divine, however I define that, however I experience that. So awakening the breath, awakening, my friend, the breath. What we turn our attention on grows, right? And most of us, and naturally so, it's not bad or wrong necessarily, but most of us don't really give a lot of thinking to our breath. We kind of just take for granted that it's there, right? Until there's an issue or until it's not there or something like that, and then it wakes us up about how important it is. But what if we just took a moment and said, wow, I can bring attention and intention to my relationship with my friend, the breath. I can awaken that relationship. Then what can happen, right? My life can become more energized. I can ground. I can access different states of consciousness. I can move energy in my body, right? Let's share a breath. I think about how in our lives we can get stuck. Right? I heard this one saying, the only difference between a path, a rut, and a grave is the depth. Ooh. And we get stuck in our lives. And I ask you to look at yourself and say, witness yourself. Where am I stuck? Where am I not moving? Where am I hooked in to a behavior, a way of being, a way of thinking, a way of treating myself, a way of showing up in the world that feels stuck and sticky, that doesn't allow a lot of movement? Well, that's something just so interesting to be curious about. And in a way, it could be an interesting practice just to imagine that part of yourself. Imagine yourself in this stuck place. And do some breath work. Do some breathing right into that place, right into that feeling in your body or your emotional body, your spiritual body, of that place of stuckness. Bring your breath in. The breath will aerate it. It will make space. Things begin to move. And that's how healing happens. Healing happens often by the movement of energies through our system that have been stuck and hooked in for too long. Right? And what space can be made if I'm breathing? So there's different kinds of breath work, of course, awakening the breath. One wonderful enervating breath, one energizing breath is breathing all through the mouth. There's a lot of many different kinds of breathing, right? There's pranayama, yogic breathing, holotropic breathing, all of these wonderful lineages to explore. I mean, there's no dearth of possibilities in terms of what you could explore in breathwork if you chose to. But one that I really love that works for me is this enervating breath where we breathe in and out of the mouth, and all of the work is like sipping air through a straw. And the exhale is a relaxed exhale. So we're not pushing out on the exhale. We're not going, we're going, and this breath is about bringing oxygen in, flooding our body, flooding our system with energy and with oxygen. And that can be very helpful. It can be very purifying. It can really move energy in the body. Another wonderful healing breath that can be used to awaken your breath in your life is the kind of breath where you breathe in, and you can do this through the nose for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, and then breathe out your mouth for a count of 8. So it's, and there's different variations of this, but so if you did this with me, you would breathe in your nose for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, and then breathe out of your mouth for a count of 8. And you can do that in a pattern, breathing in for a count of 4, holding your breath for a count of 4, and breathing out for a count of 8. And that can be such a beautiful grounding breath. When you're feeling escalated emotionally or energetically, you're feeling angry about something, you want to give yourself the gift of not reacting to something and giving yourself time and space in your life before you respond to something. That breath can help just regulate our nervous system, calm us down, ground us again. And it's nice because you can do it anywhere. You can do it in the shower, you can do it while you're driving, you can do it at a business meeting. You can have that wonderful friend, the breath, available to you at any time. So I want to invite you to consider what it might be like for you today, this week, this life, to give some intention to your breath. Feel into it. Notice what it feels like when you breathe deeply and let your belly expand and let your belly go. Breathing into your heart space. What happens when I breathe into my heart? Activating my love energy, activating my feelings with intention. What happens if I use my breath, perhaps that sequence breath 4, 4, and 8, to help me settle at night before I go to sleep or when I wake up in the morning? Try something. Check it out online. Check out some different pathways and teachings about breath and activate and awaken your breath as a friend in your life and see what happens. This is about bringing aliveness to our experience, about how I walk in the world. I want to walk in the world activated and energized with all of my tools available for me. And it is such an incredible gift that we all share the birthright of this friend, the breath. It could be really delightful to get into a relationship with it more intentionally. So awaken your breath, have fun with it, and I will see you next week for our 5th installment of the Awakening series. Thank you so much, friends. Have a beautiful day and go love the world.